Maniac, 2469 Timmy Twitch, 300 White Shark, 440 Gustav Brawler, 6502 Grimlock, 71 The Rev, 8 Yosemite Slam, and 90 Betty Switch. They're coached by Beth Rave and Jess Bandit.
And it looks like Eltonot is going to take off. All right, she's being held down by New York Stock Exchange. Jonathan R., a top scorer for this entire weekend.
Yeah, top scorer and absolute showmanship and skill from Jonathan R. With the one-legged call-off sort of becoming a trademark. We're seeing everything from the hand clap under one leg and all sorts of fancy things.
And while we're resetting up here, let me tell you about the New York Stock Exchange All-Stars. You got number 0, Sammy Dangerfield. Number 10, Wilbur Reed. Number 125, Malcolm Sex. Number 20, Abe Drinkin. Number 275, I Am Havoc. Number 311, Otter Manic. Number 35, B Shures. Number 6, Jonathan. Oops, I'm sorry here. I actually got a different thing here. Number 6, let me start over again for you. Number 0, Sammy Dangerfield. Number 10, Wolverine. Number 125, Malcolm Sex. Number 1983, I Don't Care Bear. Number 20, Abe Drinkin. Number 275, I Am Havoc. Number 311, Otter Manic. Number 35, B Shures. Number 42, Jeffrey. Number 517, T-Stop Tornado. Number 6, Jonathan R. Number 8, Harmsway. Number 833, Carnage Asada. Number 87, Stankus. Number 9, Kembo Slice.
And speaking of Kembo Slice, he is having a jammer duel against Beast. Picks up 4 points for Shock. Manages not to get that lap point because Beast stays right out in front of him, bringing Shock Exchange to 10 points. 28 minutes, 15 seconds remain in the first half. What a sight to see. This is going to be a pure joy.
And already we get into timeout here with the officials here. Probably to correct on the score because we're here seeing it go to 11 as well now.
Okay, well, also with our officials, we can definitely introduce you to these folks. Let's see what we have going on. I have to make sure I have our right schedule here. We have for referees, head ref, Mistrial, joined by Empower, Rule Enforcer, Scissors, Push Up Zebra, Whistle Blocky, Wifo, Molotov Latte. Off skates, we've got Shebra, Invade Your Space, Mariah Scary, Queen Lucy the Violet, yours truly, Veronica Scars, Haynes, Down in Jersey, Tights McGee, Kinky Linky, and Camel Topher.
Right now, as you see, as I Am Havoc already lapped the entire pack there. They barely got around turn number 1. He's already got 5 in the sky. Grand Slam. New York Stock Exchange out to a very strong start. And another 5. That's a 10-point jam so far by I Am Havoc.
Yes, and meanwhile, we've seen a few penalties for the Royal Hooligans. I do believe we have 6502, that is Grimlock, in the Bruce Boutique penalty box as we speak. The Rev was just released. Lots of action out there on the track between turns 3 and 4. I just couldn't. And even though not to the floor, I Am Havoc with a big smile fighting that wall of Royal Hooligans, tiptoeing around the outside. It appears a jammer penalty is assessed.
Yep, track cut on both.
Ah.
So track cut officially went first on I Am Havoc. He's the first one to get to the box. And then it looks like that was jumper cut. But it looks like possibly jumper cut. Well, he had the star off his helmet. Or I like their star because they got the maple leaf on it.
Yes.
So we're going to call it the maple leaf on the helmet.
He had stashed the leaf. Yeah, it looks like, I don't know, those helmet covers look a little bit different. Perhaps they busted out Team Canada just for style points. And it appears that we had a pass. The star, the Maple Leaf was passed to Eltonant, the pivot. However, he tossed the helmet cover to the infield. Let's see what's happening.
Yep, it goes to illegal procedure call. And that sent jumper cut to the box. So Eltonant had to toss that star back into the center. He could not pick it up legally.
Correct. Yeah, there's no way he could sit as the active jammer. Therefore, his jumper cut is hanging out in our Bruce Boutique penalty box. But not to worry. On the track, that is Carnage Asada, number 82, with the power start for New York Stock Exchange.
On our lovely, lovely Polar Seltzer jammer line.
Yes, and we saw the Royal Hooligans getting a little bit closer to that powered by Nesset sponsored pivot line.
I want to thank Nesset again for the awesome, ridiculously insane, wonderful Wi-Fi that we've been using. The internet's been great. We're running the stream on it. It's been perfect for everything we needed here at Battle of Bunker Hill 2016.
Sincerely appreciated. And Carter Jasada taking lead. Jumper cut returning from the Bruce Boutique penalty box. 5 in the sky for Connor Jasada and New York Shock Exchange. Meanwhile, we have Jumpercut being detained by that Shock defense.
Jumpercut having a difficult time here. Unable to score points so far, but it's still very early in the game here. The New York Shock has always had a fantastic blocker formation, and especially with guys like I Don't Care Bear, who's just a beast. It's like trying to get around a mountain that moves.
Indeed. And also, I Don't Care Bear is a member of Team Heckle today, at least here at Battle of Bunker Hill. During an earlier game, the Hooligans, we had J-Raw and I Don't Care Bear in the audience with signs with a heart around IDC for I Don't Care Bear, as well as feelings and many other things like who is Bob H? Yeah, good times here at Battle of Bunker Hill.
Who is the mysterious Bob H?
The mysterious Bob H. We'll talk about him later.
Carnage already racking up 19 points in this jam.
And it appears that we have had a pass of helmet cover to the pivot. That's number 187, Dudley Durong on the Royal Hooligans. Working on getting past that fierce wall from the Shock Exchange. Connor Jasada is adding 5 more. A great deal of speed being picked up. A little bit of a screeching halt in turn 2.
Shock is going to pick up another 4. It's bringing it so far 62-0. Come on, Royal Hooligans. I have faith in you. I love the name. I love this combo. I want to see the magic kicking. It's like these guys, it's not like they had time to practice or do a little scrimmage beforehand.
Right, and I don't know if it was brought up earlier because I wasn't on the stream today until now, but the reason for this matchup had to do with a few injuries, leaving the Mont Royals with only 6 skaters available. So what better way than to collaborate and have some fun here at Battle of Bunker Hill 2016 Invitational than mashing on up with the Philadelphia Hooligans, who, might I add, have been killing it at this tournament.
Absolutely. And it's great to see like the likes of El Tana and Jumpercut coming in together with like the actual protection of like Zombicidal Maniac and Grimlock and the Rev, all kind of fusing together as like this kind of super team.
It really is. It's like the super group. It's fantastic, but way better than New Kids on the Block and what's their name? I'm bad at boy bands. Backstreet Boys.
Oh yeah, no. They don't.
I believe Royal Hooligans trump them any day.
Yeah, they will be hanging tough throughout this entire bout here with New York Shock Exchange.
Nice New Kids pun.
I'm a very punny kind of guy.
I know,
And if you want to join in on the puns, have any comments or questions, send them to our Twitter feed right now. Hashtag BOBH2016. Again, hashtag BOBH2016.
Whoa! And on the track, I don't know if you could see that from home, but in turn 1, Meddy Switch she picks up a cutting the track penalty. However, she ended up ducking underneath one of Shock's blockers, actually Malcolm Sex, 125. It's just incredible to get through the pack, but managed to cut it as well. But that leaves Jonathan R. out there with the power jam in favor of Shock. We also have a Grand Slam, putting 5 more points on the board. See a big sweep coming from the Royal Hooligans. It's great work coming from White Shark, 300. Pairing up with Zombicidal Maniac and the Rev at the helm, guiding that terrible twosome. Multiplayer block being called on White Shark. He'll head off to the Bruce Boutique penalty box for 30 seconds. And as you can hear it probably from home, the crowd goes wild here at Aleppo Shriners Auditorium.
Of course, as soon as she got through that pack and was starting to actually work her initial pass, Shock did have to quickly call that off, 71-0. And now we actually got Beast representing the Royal Hooligans and Kembo Slice. Slice, fantastic. Actually, in one of their first bouts yesterday, they got about 60 points of their entire score that they put over. They did beat Mayo 279-92, but that was actually a little bit closer game than they've had in previous years.
Yes, I believe it was only a 187-point differential, which it has been 200 points or more for the last few years. And as everybody in the crowd goes nuts, that's because Kembo Slice of New York Stock Exchange off to the penalty box for a cutting the track penalty. That allows the Royal Hooligans to take the power jam. And I do believe, is that Beast out there?
That is Beast. Beast number 2. 0 points right now, but he gathered up quite a number of points earlier for the Hooligans. Unless I grab it. Oh, we thought it was going to be a straight up injury on the track. Beast able to pop back up because he is wild.
Excellent. And we do want to thank our fantastic medical staff. Actually, one of them out on the track right now is one of my fresh meat from Mass Attack, Gwen. But overall, our medical staff here at Aleppo Shriners Auditorium, all volunteers for this weekend at Battle of Bunker Hill 2016. Absolutely wonderful, supporting all the skaters from the most minor of injuries to those that are far more serious. Thankfully, nothing too crazy this weekend.
And it was not in vain. Beast ended up picking up 4 points. Finally putting the Mount Royals. And look at this right now. Betty Switch, the jam right now.
She's about a half lap in front of Kembo Slice.
We got about 3 blockers of the Shock Exchange in the Bruce Boutique penalty box, and this looks like Betty switches through, and it's a grand slam.
Yes, despite the defensive efforts of Sammy Dangerfield, his wall of one was just not enough.
Kembo has hit a wall of the Hooligans. They're on fire right now.
Betty swept to the infield there, trying to make her way past those last 2 blockers from Shock.
Just getting whipped around by B. Schurz right now. We'll call it off. Still, Kembo did pick up another 4 points. But the fire is now lit under the Royal Hooligans. Royal Hooligans. It's almost like saying the Barons of bar brawling.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I like it.
And speaking of fantastic, check out that jammer lineup. We have Elton Knott versus I Am Havoc on the Polar Seltzer jammer line. Meanwhile, Royal Hooligans blockers lined up right next to the Powered by Nessid pivot line.
Now, Elton Knott, he plays a different kind of jamming that most teams you don't see, where they normally just get through the pack, score the points. He will play psychology by skating backwards and eyeing not only the other jammer, but the other blockers and daring them to chase him. And
seriously, he commands the pack, and then he breaks free and does things like this. Just amazing. And listen to this. In-house, we can hear him clearly communicating to his blockers, and it pays off picking up 4 points. Let's see what we have at Jam's end. 4 points for Elton Knott and Royal Hooligans, bringing the score to 75-17. Shock still in front. 18 minutes, 22 seconds remain in that first half.
And you can tell that the Shock Exchange is already starting to feel that building momentum. They just called out a timeout right now. As Vicious Van Gogh right now is reconvening with the team and trying to put the kibosh on the Royal Hooligans. Royal Hooligans.
Royal Hooligans. Say it with me. Royal Hooligans.
You gotta roll your tongue. Royal Hooligans.
Oh, you fancy.
Reginald, fetch me some more Polar Seltzer, our sponsor here at... I can't even do this anymore.
We just can't even, guys. This is so much fun.
We've been doing this since 8:30 this morning and yesterday morning.
Yes. It's been a couple of long days, but all for the love of roller derby and to bring it to you, our fans at home. We appreciate all of you tuning in. How many we have tuning in, by the way? Do we know? We like to check on that. So hopefully lots of people tuning in, watching Royal Hooligans versus New York Stock Exchange. That is Carnage Asada lining up against someone who's very, very low. Oh, that would be Beast on our Polar Seltzer Jammer line. So let's see how our jammers fare.
Beast knocked out of bounds by Malcolm 6, having to recycle back almost all the way back to turn number 4. And this is going to give the huge opportunity for Carnage. Carnage is going to come up with Lee Jim practically swimming through the pack. And they did not get him out of bounds. He's going to come through. No pass, no penalty. It's going to be actually called. He's still going to pick up 4 points. Beast took a tumble into the straightaway to turn number 3, able to pop back up, working the initial pass. White Shark commanding the blocking brigade did put the halt to Carnage, forcing him to call it off as Beast is creeping up. They're going to snag an additional 3 more points.
All right, looks like got a little dancing happening here. And don't forget, we also had the Philadelphia Hooligans cheering section who claim that the team travels with them, not the other way around. They are here in-house making lots of noise for the Royal Hooligans, and it is a fantastic energy. That is Eltonot getting swept to the infield by I Don't Care Bear and Sammy Dangerfield. Kembo Slice making his way around, coming in pretty fast. Oh, and we have a Maple Leaf pass off to 245 Zombicidal Maniac.
This is the first time Zombicidal Maniac has jammed at all during this entire event.
Yeah, I do believe so. We've seen Zombicidal Maniac as a force blocking.
This is good. This is kind of, and I'm just speculating, I think this is kind of the approach that they do in New York Stock Exchange, where they regroup during timeout. They knew who to go after. L10 is a threat, and then when he does that kind of star pass, it throws them off the game because all their eyes are originally on that big 0 on his back.
Yes. And speaking of the numbers on backs, that is Kembo Slice jamming again up against number 101, Juppercut. Juppercut being swept to the infield, held by that 3-wall of New York Stock Exchange. Kembo picking up lead. Pack has slowed in turn 1. Very calculated. Kembo slows it down, coming to the back of the pack. Spin move on the outside, putting 5 on the board for Stock Exchange.
Looks like Wolverine and number 8, that would be Yosemite Slam for their respective teams, reporting to the Brews Boutique penalty box. And with the Grand Slam coming by is Kembo Slice. And it's go right ahead.
Yeah, it appears that we do have a little bit of a switch there. A power jam in favor of New York Stock Exchange and Kembo Slice as he puts a Grand Slam on the board. Juppercut having a seat in our Brews Boutique penalty box.
This is not looking good for the Mount Royals. This is a really tough time right now. Already Kembo Slice was already putting 5 on the board, had a good streak, a good fire behind him, and then the power jam came into effect.
Not to worry. It looks like, that 3-wall up front now going to a 2-wall. It appears deadly 2 wrong. The pivot for Royal Hooligans off to that penalty box, sponsored by Brews Boutique. Yep. Juppercut returning to the track, to the rear of, it looks like Mullen Brando. Oh no, I apologize. That is Abe Drinkin, along with 517 T-Stop Tornado. A little tippy toe action. Jumpercut making it past.
Oh my. I don't know about you, but when I'm looking at the Mount Royals there, I'm seeing 2 guys doing blocking that I would be terrified, and that's Yosemite Slam teaming up with the Rev.
Oh yeah.
2 big beard scary men.
2 big bearded beasts, that's for sure.
They will eat you alive.
I think that's pretty awesome. Okay, also, speaking of awesome, check it out. We've got I Am Havoc facing off against Betty Switch on that Polar Seltzer Jammer line. I Am Havoc swept to the outside, dragged back by Elton Knott, as well as number 16, Mardi Gras, your captain, actually, for Royal Hooligans today. And a power jam in favor of the Royal Hooligans. I Am Havoc off on a cutting the track penalty. Crowd going wild. We have a star pass to Dudley Durong, number 187.
I just saw a pile of people and everyone yell, oh, so I can imagine that was painful.
We had about 3. It was a domino effect. It's pretty weird.
And it caused Dudley Durong to go out of bounds, so he had to recycle behind the pack.
Getting caught up on Malcolm Sex, a formidable force out there blocking for New York Stock Exchange, along with Sammy Dangerfield.
And I Don't Care Bear.
Yes.
Hold him at bay. Uh-oh.
And B-Shires, too.
And that's going to be a track cut now. That's going to be on Dudley Durong. Power jam reverse going to New York Stock Exchange in favor of I Am Havoc.
And he did wrong, so he had to go to the penalty box. Boo. Or at least that's what Dudley Durong's saying while he waits.
And we're going to have another official time out here.
Okay, well, while we wait, just some great things happening here today. We've had a few fantastic matchups. Casco Bay and Maelstrom of Massachusetts Men's Derby, our host league for Battle of Bunker Hill Invitational 2016. That was a really fun game. Maelstrom walking away with the win, but it was great to see the rematch. Casco Bay and Maelstrom had a matchup last month, so it was great to see the chance to rematch. And coming up, what do we have next? We'll have to check our schedule and find out. I apologize, guys. It's a bit of a blur. We've been pretty busy getting completely immersed in all the Derby action, be it on the house mic or on the live stream call. Really glad to have you with us.
It's actually going to be...
Oh, it appears that, the Trauma Authority.
Trauma Authority?
With Collision. They're going to be coming up next, so that's pretty exciting. That'll be at 4:30, I believe.
That'll be 4:30, and then we have a special Bees bout at 6:30.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, I think one of my favorite games here was actually the Boston All-Stars doing the Stars versus Stripes, because that was probably the closest game we've had here all weekend.
Yes, actually, all day yesterday, the thing that's amazing about the Stars versus Stripes exhibition game is that I was on the house for that one, and it was a good time. But seeing the lead changes, it was the most closely matched game we saw yesterday. Granted, it was not sanctioned gameplay, but it was just as exciting, if not a little more, because yesterday we saw some pretty big score differentials. So when you get something that's pretty closely matched, you get on the edge of your seat. It's a nail biter. It keeps you going. We got to see that last night with Stars vs. Stripes, courtesy of Boston Roller Derby. And today we've just had some fantastic games. Capital District Trauma Authority earlier against the Hooligans.
Oh my goodness!
Amazing.
Actually, we actually had someone on the Twitter actually calling it a nail biter as well. It was one of those heated contested games where it was a revolving door in the penalty box that was changing up the score, and you could see the fierceness coming out of everyone's eyes, and there was a lot of heat on that track. But in the end, that was probably one of the other best games, I have to say, that was here. Very closely contested. And
out of the whole tournament thus far, the Invitational, it appears that was the closest scoring game. So out of all the sanctioned games, it was even closer, I believe, than Stars and Stripes. Back to the track, you're seeing Carnage Asada on a power start for New York Stock Exchange, taking lead jammer. We have Dudley Durong standing in the penalty box, about to be released from the Bruce Boutique penalty box. 5 points up for Carnage Asada.
Yeah, he ran into Zombicidal Maniac and White Shark. They slowed him down a little bit, but he was able to get through. And beautiful work, Abe Drinkin helping clear the path for Carnage as he whips around, picks up another grand slam.
I have a question, Krim.
Uh-oh.
We have White Shark out there working with Zombicidal Maniac. Would that be a zombie Sharknado?
No, that gets even more terrifying.
Yeah, that's pretty creepy. I don't know, just something to think on. Zombie Sharknado, yo.
You should get the rights on that.
I might have to. And Carnage Asada making the rounds on the outside, actually right in front of us. We get to witness that action. 5 points up for Shock Exchange. Appears we have a power jam once again in favor of New York Shock Exchange. That is Dudley Dubron back to the Bruce Boutique penalty box. And that's Yosemite Slam swept to the outside by Jeffrey.
Another grand slam thrown to Carnage here. Ari picking up 59 points this bout alone out of the 139. He wiggles his way through, gets another 5 on the board right now. Hooligans setting up a nice little triangle to try to catch him in a net. But what's great about, if you look at a Shock Exchange, their blockers will run in at the very last second and disrupt the other team. This one being the Royal Hooligans, and break up that entire, whether they're going to do a triangle or they're going to do a diamond, breaking that up so they can slip through. And Carnage is so fast and so great at juking around individuals. It makes it easy for him, and that's why he scored 69 points this game.
Wow. And lining up right now, we've got Beast returning to the track, facing off against Jonathan R. Looks like a nice empty penalty box, so a full 5-on-5 out there.
Look at I Don't Care Bear putting the hurt down on Beast.
And Eltonot working on Jonathan R with those shoulders, but has to let him go due to the out-of-play warning. Lead jammer status to Jonathan R. Again, pile up between turns 1 and 2 out there. Sending Malcolm Sex to the back of the pack.
Eltonot catching Jonathan R. Look at him fiercely trying to get around him.
Yes, we have a beautiful 3-wall up front. And that's 6-5-0-2. That was Grimlock alongside Eltonot. Oh, big hit there coming from number 35, Beeshers.
Grimlock backing in now, but he's with the Rev, teamed up. Beast helping out as well.
We could call that the Bearded Beast line. Oh, and an aggressive shoulder from Beeshers, sending Grimlock to the floor.
It might have been hard for you to see, but Eltonot was hand to the star, and he could not get around New York Shock, so he threw it back to Beast.
And the penalty goes to Beast, sitting in the Bruce Boutique penalty box alongside Sammy Dangerfield. That leaves a power jam in the hands of Jonathan R.
Throwing his fist, getting 5. Now, out of the 7 power jams that New York Shock has gotten, they've gained 42 points out of that. That's a big, big chunk to get out of them.
Well, that just shows that they are utilizing the opportunity to its fullest. On 1 foot, Eltonot hanging in there, staying in bounds despite a big hit from Malcolm Sex.
Yeah, beautiful. If you were watching I Don't Care Bear, he was being the bridge between 2 sets of packs, one being Eltonot and preventing him from regrouping with his pack. That's a conquer and divide strategy. And that's going to be a official review being called by the Royal Hooligans. And now, fans, I want to reach out to you on our Twitter, hashtag BOBH2016. What do you think of this hybrid team, the Royal Hooligans? Who are some of the players you wanted to see on the team? Or who are some of your favorites skating right now? So reach out to us on Twitter here, hashtag BOBH2016.
Exactly. We are here for you. I am keeping a close eye on the Twitter stream.
This has been fun here. We are live at Shriners Auditorium here in Wilmington, Massachusetts for the 2016 Battle on Bunker Hill. And all the battles have been fierce here all weekend long. And we still have 2 more bouts to go after this.
Yes. But that's all right. We're going to power through and have fun right to the end. And lucky for us, we have an after party right on the premises at the Fez Room here at Aleppo Shriners Auditorium.
I hope we have some of the Shriners joining me with this one.
I'm sure we do.
They've been so great and wonderful.
They are wonderful. And actually, one of those lieutenants, Henry, was particularly helpful this morning to the announcers. We had some issues with the house mic, and he helped me locate the manager here in-house to replace the microphone. So shout out to Henry here at Aleppo Shriners Auditorium. They love Derby and they like having us here, and we appreciate it.
Absolutely. And to all the staff that's been here, again, our bouts start at 8:30 in the morning both days, so everyone's got to show up early, make sure everything is set, catering is good, lights are on, power is running, everyone's ready to rock and roll, all the stats are ready to go, so everyone here is at the crack of dawn for real, and they last here all the way till past sunset, and we will be sticking alongside them as well here.
I'm going through the Twitter feed right now, the hashtag BOBH2016. And we had on the house mic, I was asked to page the owner of a lost blue AT&T flip phone. And Marcy Pry, I love you. This is hilarious. If you have lost a blue AT&T flip phone, please report to the year 2004. Hashtag BOBH2016. Holla. That was fantastic.
Flip phones, eh?
Yeah.
What's that technology?
Listen, I provide the voice, not the message. I was asked, we found this phone. Can you put it out there so someone can come claim it? And hopefully they did. I'll have to check in with the Bruce Boutique table because they were out in the lobby and they were the ones in possession of this flip phone. So 2004 is calling. I hope they picked up.
Actually, we can use help from you fans. We forgot to mention this, but if you look in the far back distance, you kind of see a colorful stage on your screen. Towards the center there, you kind of see what almost looks like a door with red and gold, but to the right of it is a giant, full-size camel. No, it's not real, unfortunately.
There's a camel where?
There's a giant camel up there. And
I didn't even notice that.
And also, Blanco Fabuloso asked the Shriners, does it have a name? It doesn't. So we want to reach out to you. Hashtag BOBH2016. Name the camel. Name the camel. And I'm a half Egyptian, so I'm biased, so I've disqualified myself out of this. I'm leaving it to you, the fans. Name the camel here at the Battle of Bunker Hill, where they had many camels riding through on Bunker Hill back 200 plus years ago.
Hashtag my humps, my humps.
No, signing off. Crimson Alchemy. Have a good night.
Hey, it's all about fun, and that's exactly why we love roller derby. So it appears that Betty Switch is ready, but waiting because of the team timeout, it is an official review requested by the Royal Hooligans, and we'll make sure to keep you updated on that. We have some really excellent alt-revs who are helping us out and filling us in, so when they're done, we'll get a recap. But Betty Switch was hanging out, doing some kickbacks while waiting on the Polar Seltzer Jammer line.
And right now we're seeing some wonderful yoga by Abe Drinkin.
Yes.
And he's being assisted by Jeffrey, who's sitting and put the weight on his back now.
Looks like planks. Oh, there's plank. All right. You got to keep that core. Engage the core. Meanwhile, Stankus and Betty Switch patiently waiting. Like, can we jam now? Come on, can we?
And Jeffrey supports the weight. Look at this. This is teamwork here.
Teamwork making the dream work here at Battle of Bunker Hill 2016. Oh my.
The plank has been broken, and so has Abe Drinkin.
Oh, good times.
That's what I love about it. No matter how long this has been, all weekend long, non-stop calling from dawn till dusk, calling roller derby. Everyone's still having fun, and we still have a lot of energy. And I definitely want to shout out one more time to Polar Seltzer. Thank you for all this bubbly water here. It's been keeping me driven all day.
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic. The orange vanilla, raspberry lime, we have black cherry, all sorts of flavors. No unicorn kisses because that was a limited batch and it's gone bye-bye.
Speaking of black cherry, one of my favorite skaters out of Connecticut. Yeah.
I was going to say, familiar name there.
Black Cherry from Connect, she needs to get a sponsorship from Polar Seltzer.
Perhaps.
This is going to be a juicy official review when we find out what's going on.
And again, even though these official reviews do take a long time, it's because they want to make sure they get all the information correct and accurate. And they are all volunteers. They've been with us all weekend long, so big shout out to all the referees and all the NSOs. Because without them, all these people would be beating each other senseless, and the police would be arresting every single one of them.
Yeah, none of that. It's all love here at Aleppo Shriners Auditorium. And thanks again to Massachusetts Men's Roller Derby for having us here at Battle of Bunker Hill.
Especially our Conlin's little baby apparently is terrified of beards, but apparently not mine.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, I think you're just charming, and dogs and babies love you. And cats, too.
I think they're just confused by me. They're like, what's wrong with this mammal?
Well, you are a conundrum. So, looks like we're going to start with El Tenant serving as the jammer and the Bruce. Oh, no, not jammer. Why doesn't... Okay, the Royal Hooligans don't appear to have fielded a jammer. There's an illegal procedure penalty as signaled by mistrial. We'll get some clarification. Looks like rule enforcers walking around gonna maybe help us out.
You know what?
Okay, hold please. All right, that is correct. El Tenant is sitting as jammer as a result of the official review, which, as mentioned, we'll get clarification. Betty Switch returned to her bench because she would not jam right now. So that is Stankus on the power start for New York Shock Exchange.
Stankus coming through as the first jam of this bout of Stankus. And the little hop of the apex going to hit a grand slam. Only a three skater wall that belongs to the Royal Hooligans. Oh, and it looks like they put a halt on Stankus, and that goes out to Zombicidal Maniac being teamed up with Dudley Do-Wrong. And they do push him out of bounds and force him to cycle back to turn number 2. And the Bruce Boutique penalty box is empty. It is a full house on the track.
Yes. And out on the track, again, it seems the theme, we've had pile-ups in the turns. Stankus fighting against Jumpercut and Zombicidal Maniac, continually cycling around, along with number 16, Mardi Gras. El Tenant returning. But it appears 10 points for Shock Exchange, 183 points to the Royal Hooligans 20. 6 minutes remain in the first half.
Kind of wonder as we're getting close now. We got about, as you said, like going under 6 minutes now. Mm-hmm. What kind of conversation? Now that the Royal Hooligans are starting to kind of find a little gel together, what are they going to come back with in the second half?
Time can only tell, Krim. It's quite exciting, and I cannot wait. But we need to get through the remainder of the first half before we can anticipate.
Absolutely. Betty Switch and Havoc both up for their 4th jam this bout. Havoc picked up about 24 points. Betty Switch 12.
She is not lead. There was a no point, no penalty. But it appears Carnage Asada, I apologize, no, that's I Am Havoc, what am I thinking? Getting around on the outside is lead. Let's see what he does.
Havoc, Carnage, it's all the same mass destruction.
It is the same mass destruction. Although, I have to say, I enjoy watching both of them skate. I don't necessarily get the beard, though.
You don't get the beard?
With Havoc. Beard with Carnage Asada. Yep. There's the beard. And I don't believe there's a beard here for Havoc. Although, Havoc is always smiling, so I love that. You know, there's just some people, when they're skating, you see how much fun they're having.
Also, no point, no penalty, going out of bounds as well. 4 points, though, is going to go over. And a skater down on the track.
So bear with us. We're just going to wait for an update, and we'll be back. But feel free to hit us up on the Twitter feed, hashtag BOBH2016.
And name the camel, please. Need you to name the camel.
Hashtag name the camel. Hashtag ish announcers say.
Also, don't forget, if you want to join along with us, because I am a stat nerd. I love looking at all the numbers, even though I hate math. But you can join along at boomkitty.com. That's BOOMKITTY.com. I love it's a kitty. That's another bonus to that. Click on roller stats, and you can watch. You can actually join along live and watch as all the information is feeded through to us.
Yes, you need to click on the remote viewer and then look at the drop down and select recent in order to see the up-to-date real-time stats.
I'd like to give some love to some of our sponsors as well. We have Rock Tape. And also, once again, the awesome Wi-Fi provided by NYSE, who actually powers our pivot line here at Shriners Auditorium in Wilmington, Massachusetts. It looked like it was that went down, and he is up. It always makes me feel better when I can see him get up. And the finger.
Up.
Look at it, he's pumping the fist in the air. He has his mouth covered, but you can kind of see by his muscles he was smiling underneath it.
Well, that's good.
Because all derby skaters are sadistic. No matter how much pain, I always see them smiling. Me, I got like a little paper cut today, and I was like sobbing to the medics. But I did get a Minions Band-Aid.
Yes, I know. Crimson Alchemia comes up to me and goes, "Look, I have a Minion Band-Aid." And I said, "Did you get a lollipop too?"
And I went back looking for the lollipop. Unfortunately, they didn't hand them out.
And thanks to Andy for checking in and letting us know. We have 57 viewers right now on the live stream. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We appreciate it. And for bearing with us, looks like just going to return to gameplay shortly. We have 4 minutes, 37 seconds remaining in the first half. 191 points, New York Stock Exchange, 23 points, the Royal Hooligans. Returning once we get word from our officials. Still have an official timeout in place.
And we did it earlier, but we're going to do it again. Thank you to all our medics here, because we even have the Shriners Fire Brigade presented here. So we have our local medics. We actually have the auditorium's medics, everyone on staff. They've been fantastic on the spot. And all around, very lovely people.
To the point where if there's a skater who needed rock tape applied, because rock tape is so handy, increasing circulation and, preventing those ouchies, or at least lessening them. And I said ouchies, yes, that ties in with Crim's Minion Band-Aid. If needed, they have been applying rock tape for skaters, and that's been particularly helpful. And I think even for Don't Care Bear, who was on the stream earlier, she was having some trouble with her knee, and one of the medics was kind enough to tape her up with some rock tape.
Yeah, if I request that, I want all that tape on every part of my body because I hurt everywhere.
Well, it's for specific things. I personally like rock tape because as a skater, unfortunately for me, I have issues with my IT bands. And foam rolling, it helps, but sometimes it gets a little painful, but it's very helpful to tape the IT bands. And rock tape has a particular method for it.
And so if I put it on my face, will it keep people from freaking out when they look at me?
I don't understand why people would freak out when they look at you unless they're like, "Oh my God, Crimson Alchemia!"
Oh my God!
Just like, "Oh my God, Carnage Asada!" Running on those tippy toes, the toe stops. Not lead jammer, but let's see what he does with this.
Yeah, he's chasing L to not. Smartly calling it off after coming through. 4 on the board, and he did shut that door on Carnage. I think I missed Ham Solo saying something.
I don't know. I was rather proud of myself because by accident earlier, I happened to say something about solo blocking by Ham Solo on the house. It's like, Ham Solo blocking. Oh, because we've got jokes.
We'll make Oso Blanco come back on the stream and tell his
No.
his terrible derby jokes.
No, please.
Okay, Betty switch out for her 5th jam. Abe drinking though, that's his first jam, and with that, he's going to take the lead.
Betty switch about a quarter lap behind.
And there's going to be elbow call, and that's going to be on B Shirts as reports to the Brews Boutique penalty box.
And we were talking about this during other games here at Battle of Bunker Hill. You've seen some shifts in rosters from different teams, new additions each season. And Beechers came from the Quad Fathers in Central New York. And it's just like earlier, while watching Maelstrom, you may recognize a familiar name from formerly on Shock Exchange, Jimmy Rage. He now skates for Best Maelstrom. So it's neat to see because even if you move, guess what? There's Derby in your neck of the woods, most likely.
Yeah, it's nice to see Deep Insider here this weekend as well.
Yes, and that was a surprise to me. I didn't know he was skating with Casco Bay, but fantastic to see. And it is Elton Knott dueling against Jonathan R. Elton Knott taking lead.
Yeah, they're coming around into turn number 2. He's hopping around. But there's a track cut call on Elton Knott, so that's going to give Jonathan R. one of the top scorers this weekend for New York Stock Exchange, the Power Jam. And again, we mentioned before, they've been utilizing well. 9th Power Jam, and they've already scored 56 points out of their total 195.
And on Twitter, thanks Ross NJ. The hashtag name the camel, hashtag BOBH 2016, Revere's Humpmobile. I don't know.
I like it.
Put some glitter on it. We can make it work.
A can of Coke to you, sir. Very good. Jonathan R. having to swing around number 16 Mardi Gras, who had to let him go.
And Shock Exchange officially hitting 200
Whoa!
points. Wow! What was that? His arms out like wings.
It wasn't even an apex jump. It was
No.
he just flew across the track and
Yeah.
just happened to land on his
Jonathan
feet.
R. took flight.
Apparently so.
Clearly, that man's wings are not broken. We were grooving out to Mr. Mister making fun of music on the house last night, and there was Take These Broken Wings. Yeah, no, he flies anyway. No broken wings for Jonathan R. 5 points in the sky for a Shock Exchange. Elton Knott skating backwards, one-footed, denying that block.
So close. So close to slipping out of bounds.
5 points up for Elton Knott.
Switch back out there. Previous jam, it looked like she wasn't going to make it, but ended up scoring 2 points for her team.
Betty Switch facing off against I Am Havoc. Nice 5-on-5 to start the jam. Colleen empty Bruce Boutique penalty box. Betty Switch appears to have been swept out, able to pop back in. Oh, however, picking up the cutting the track penalty. So it is I Am Havoc with the lead on the Power Jam.
And I Don't Care Bear also getting sent to the box. The Brews Boutique penalty box. 5 in the sky going to I Am Havoc. It's interesting to watch how he moves his body. Mm-hmm. It's like he's made of cartilage, ligaments, tendons, but no bones.
Graceful Gumby, perhaps?
Possibly. Oh! And he does get knocked out of bounds, and that was
a
Grimlock.
Between Grimlock and then Rev right behind.
No, my mistake. That was number 608.
608. That was Ham Solo.
Ham Solo, yeah. Like shorts. They ask for protections you'll see on his lower body there. But yeah, I found out from him during the break that he is known as Gumby. So yeah, it's true. He was born without bones. And no bones about it.
Without further ado, back to the track. That is Abe Drinkin taking lead in the first jam of the second half. Facing off against Elton Knott. But Eltonot had passed the star off to Mardi Gras. That's the captain of the Royal Hooligans.
That's the first time I think he's jammed at all this bout. Oh, like the weekend.
You are correct. I have not seen Mardi Gras with the star before now. And don't mind us while we pause for a shameless selfie. Don't worry, it'll get posted on Twitter. Hashtag BOBH2016. Not to be confused with Bob H's 2016 campaign for presidency.
So Bob H wants to get rid of all human skaters and make them cats, which I would like. I'd like to see that.
Well, Bob H is a big fan of the dank cat meme, and he has a heck of a comb over, so check him out.
Right now, Kembo Slice on his fifth jam, actually, of this bout, 37 points in, taking lead jam. Betty Switch coming around as well as we're in the straightaway. The turn number 3. Betty was catching up on Kembo. He had to quickly call. He threw the 2 in, but had to call that off.
Our jammer lineup on the Polar Seltzer jammer line is Carnage Asada up against Eltonot. Looks like we have a pack advantage for the Royal Hooligans as Jeffrey is standing in the penalty box for New York Stock Exchange. Oh, and a big hit to Carnage Asada, taking it to the outside, driven back by number 8 Yosemite Slam, along with Mardi Gras, but Yosemite Slam picking up the penalty. Actually, with number 8 from Shock, let's see, who is that? That is Harm's Way, both in the penalty box. So now we have a 3-3 blocker line across the board.
And actually, Eltonot being the lead jam, re-engages the pack finally. Tries to square him in there and able to pull out 3 points for the Royal Hooligans. And now on the Poland Seltzer Jammer line.
I want to give a shout out to JC out on Twitter. JC says, I'd watch Cat Derby. Hashtag BOBH 2016. I think I'd watch Cat Derby too. That would be pretty interesting.
JC, you're my new best friend.
Sign Darwin up, Krim.
Yes.
That is 275. I Am Havoc taking lead over Betty Switch.
Betty Switch actually going to the Bruce Boutique penalty box for a forearm call. So that's going to be power jam for I Am Havoc.
The last thing the Royal Hooligans want is to let a power jam land in the hands of New York Stock Exchange, let alone with I Am Havoc with his Gumby-like qualities out there on the track. 5 points up for Havoc.
I'm sending JC cat photos all night tonight when I get home.
Oh, lucky JC.
Oh!
But the question is, will they meet Bob H's standard for dank cat memes?
Oh, wait a minute. I just want to point out, Havoc knocked it outside, came back in, and it looked like the Rev was trying to push him out, and he jumped over Rev's butt and stayed inside.
Betty Switch swept to the infield by Beeshers with some help from Kenbo Slice.
Ooh.
A very fluid 3-ball along with 10. That is Wolverine doing a number to hold Betty Switch back. She sweeps in, she sweeps out, back into the middle. Wolverine really trying to shoulder it out. Now Betty Switch caught up once again right in front.
Yeah.
Right around the Power by Nesset pivot line. Looks like we have Kembo Slice working on some to get I Am Havoc past the Royal Hooligans defense.
Oh, the dreaded
pullback.
The Rev and Yosemite Slam. Slam on a recycle back, and actually it looks like Betty Switch is having to recycle back as well. Havoc slipped through another 4 on the board, and that'll be it for that jam.
It looks like once again Abe Drinkin on the jammer line for New York Stock Exchange. Who will he face? That would be Elton on.
My big question is, I wonder if all that planking he did during the first bout is going to become useful.
Well, of course, we know core strength is essential to roller derby. And they're off. And core work indeed, perhaps giving Abe Drinkin the lead jammer status.
Now we know his secret weapon.
There you go. All those planks, though.
That back up with the pack. Again, Elton not having a hard time trying to plow his way through, because right now he's got to deal with the blocks of clue and I Don't Care Bear alongside Malcolm Sex.
At Kobe Walden on the hashtag BOPH 2016 Twitter feed, Kitty Purry would definitely be a great cat derby name. I agree. I love this. This is turned into hashtag name the camel into hashtag kitty derby.
This is great. This is great interaction. Elton not coming around the inside.
You guys are great.
he engaged Stankus, came through, was able to pick up 2 points.
Out there on the track, that is Mardi Gras, number 16, captain of the Royal Hooligans, facing off against number 6, Jonathan R. for New York Stock Exchange.
I got another great derby name, but it's already taken right here by Collision Men's All-Stars, and that's Mr. Miyagi.
Oh, Mr. Miyagi. I know, I've been doing that all day. I get a kick out of it, and I am easily amused.
Jonathan R. on the 6th jam, working his way through Mardi Gras, officially starting a first jam. Had a star pass earlier, but it did not benefit at all. And it looks like we might have a little jimmer action. Nope, Jonathan R. does a smart thing, pulls it off while waving to the crowd. He is such a happy skater. Just big smiles all around. Like, kind of like when you look at it, it's like that genuine smile that makes you feel warm inside.
Aw, the warm fuzzies from roller derby.
Eltonot on the Polar Seltzer jammer line. Going to go skate to skate against
Carnage Asada. Apparently the killer of meat.
the killer of meat.
Well, Carnage Asada.
Oh, yeah. I did it.
Get it?
Slowly but surely, it seeps through my cerebrum. And it looks like number 187, Dudley Do Wrong.
Dudley Do Wrong.
Dudley Do Wrong. Getting the star passed over to him. Little jammer on jammer. Engaged the pat. Came in. And Carnage got 1 point, called it off. Dudley thought he had something, but has 0.
Oh, that's all right, though. You know, back to the bench and see what we have going on. Looks like it's going to be Betty Switch up against I Am Havoc. And just getting back to our Twitter feed, hashtag BOBH2016, hashtag Make Cat Derby a thing. JC says Schmitty litter. I like it. All right, that is Havoc taking the lead for Shock Exchange. Looks like we have the pack caught up between turns 1 and 2. A call being made for cutting the track against Betty Switch. Looks like we've seen this one before.
Yep.
It's going to play out pretty similarly, I'm afraid. At least for the Royal Hooligans. I Am Havoc and New York Stock Exchange going to maximize the power jam opportunity.
Absolutely. Havoc skated in about 4 power jams already and gathered 24 points out of those. Make that 29 points.
You know, one thing I noticed, we have not had any on-the-bench karaoke from Shock Exchange. Yesterday, we had a little rendition of Whitney Houston's I Want to Dance with Somebody from the bench, but nothing today. They're not feeling musical.
They can't compete with the announcer karaoke we were running through all day yesterday.
Oh yeah. Were you singing on the live stream, Chris?
I was singing everywhere. It's gonna be 4 more points there. I believe that's a 14-point jam he got there. Yep, 14 points so far in this jam. As the Brews Boutique penalty box has been cleared out, we have a full house on the track. Right now, Betty switched, trying to work her way around Stankus, and also I Don't Care Bear.
Oh, and I Don't Care Bear bracing that 2-wall at one point, just making it completely impenetrable. Stankus with a sweep to the outside on Betty Switch, dragging it back to the utmost extent of our engagement zone, but it appears there was an out-of-play penalty against Stankus, so that'll leave the line for blockers from the New York Stock Exchange down one. A nice big 29-point jam for Shock. 18 and a half minutes remain in the game. 290 Shock Exchange, 39 Royal Hooligans.
Eltonot and Jonathan are on the Polish Delta Jammer line, getting ready to go skate to skate in this jam. Jonathan R. fair and better than Eltonot. Jonathan only actually did 7 jams so far, pulled 63 points out of it. Eltonot 10 jams, only 18 points. And you can see it here with Shock Exchange's blocking. Beautiful work by Malcolm Sex and Sammy Dangerfield.
Indeed. Yeah, B-Shirts holding down the bridge. There are a couple more suggestions there on Twitter for the hashtag Make Cat Derby a Thing, hashtag BOBH2016. Making Cat Derby a thing, apparently. Kobe Walden suggesting Anderson Cooper. P-U-R-R. That's cute. I like it. What a newsworthy kitty. Okay.
Cooper 360 in the litter box, but in a different box.
The Brews Boutique penalty box. No kitty litter in there, I'd hope. Elton not taking a seat as jammer. That leaves the power jam in the hands of New York Stock Exchange's Jonathan R.
Jonathan already gathering 33 points out of power jams. That's going to be another 5 up on the board.
Oh, we have a hashtag named the Camel contestant too. I'll tell you about that in a second.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm so excited. Camels and cats, my Egyptian blood is boiling with excitement. Eltonot is back on the track, re-engaged with the pack.
I can't help it. I can't contain myself.
Looks like the star came off his hand. Eltonot still holding onto it. As he's knocked on the inside, has to skate right around behind Malcolm Sex. And with that, the New York Stock Exchange has broken over 300 now. That's going to bring it 316 to 39.
That was a 26-point jam for Stock Exchange. 2 25-plus point jams in a row. Last one was 29 points. Just huge numbers being put up by Shock. But back to our, our little conversation here about hashtag Name the Camel here at Battle of Bunker Hill 2016. Kobe Walden's entry for Name the Camel. Benedict Humperdinck.
Benedict Humperdinck.
That might be my favorite.
Get Kobe a can of Coke. That is fantastic. Cheers, mate.
I like it.
Kembo Slice already worked his pass as lead jam, and it's going to go 5 in the sky. Grand slam. Dudley Durong still hasn't gotten through the pack and worked his initial pass at all.
And that solo blocking courtesy of Hem Solo, the only way to go. Holding off Kembo Slice as long as possible.
Dudley.
What we have.
Yeah, I was going to say, Dudley Durong coming around turn number 4 actually thought he could break away from the pack, but actually fell, and that helped I Don't Care Bear to circle right back in front of him.
And Wolverine sweeping Dudley Do-Wrong to the infield, cycling to the rear of the pack.
Harm's Way again called out to the Bruce Boutique penalty box on an elbow. And it's going to be a cut track call. You got to see who that's on. Uh-oh. And that is going to be on Kembo Slice. This is a power jam in favor of the Royal Hooligans.
All right, Dudley Do-Wrong appears to have stashed the star. Getting a little help from Zombicidal Maniac 245, the pivot. And despite the efforts of New York Stock Exchange's Wolverine, Dudley Do-Wrong able to escape the pack. Let's see what happens as Harm's Way returns to the pack. Oh.
Unfortunately, he tried to jump the apex and landed butt first.
Gets up with a smile, but I will say the thud made by Dudley Do-Wrong while he hit the floor.
That was actually very loud here.
The force behind that, I think I felt it here at the stream table. Wow. But he got up with a smile, so hopefully that doesn't hurt too badly tomorrow. But we know how that is the day after a tournament.
He landed on his vertical smile and came up with a horizontal smile.
And just to confirm, up next, because we have just under 14 minutes remaining in this battle between New York Stock Exchange and the Royal Hooligans, we are followed at 4:30 by a matchup of Collision Men's Derby versus Capital District Trauma Authority. So 4:30, we'll have that coming up for you here at www.bobh2016.com/live.
Crimzel coming in here along with Banshee, the beautiful Banshee.
Oh, thanks.
Live from the Shriners Auditorium in Wilmington, Massachusetts here. And we got number 82, Carnage Asada, and 1911 Beast.
Oh, Crim, looks like we have Greensboro Roller Derby, GSO Roller Derby on Twitter. Giving a shout out, go Betty Switch, hashtag BOBH2016. Thanks, Greensboro. We appreciate you tuning in and supporting Betty Switch.
Beast cuts across the pack to the inside, and he is out. Hooligan fans going insane here. The pack is starting to race. They are going to make the Beast chase him, and the Beast is hungry.
Every time I hear Beast, I always think of the X-Men.
Yes.
I automatically think, but he's not blue.
And he doesn't look like Kelsey
big.
Grammer.
No, does not look like an extremely hairy Kelsey Grammer. No. But he is a Derby Beast at very least.
2 points thrown up by the Hooligans, one for the Shock Exchange after that big chase around the flat track. And now we're going to have number 20, Abe Drinking, and 0, El Tanat.
The pack advantage goes to the Royal Hooligans as I Am Havoc sitting as pivot. And it appears a cutting the track penalty assessed to Abe Drinkin, meaning a power jam in the hands of El Tanat and the Royal Hooligans.
El Tanat, huge opportunity. He's another big point scorer for the Mount Royals throughout this entire invitational. But now he's come up with the big challenge against the New York Stock Exchange. Malcolm Seps holding ground with Harm's Way. Tanat knocked down to his knees. He's going to try to find something on the inside.
And El Tanat driven to the rear of the pack by I Don't Care Bear and Malcolm Sachs.
Oh, look at, oh, and there he goes.
Abe Drinkin is back on the track. Appears that there's a little bit of a tumble, but he manages to pop right back up and just roll right off of Gustav Brawler 440 for the Royal Hooligans.
And of course, with that tumble, Zombicide Maniac that was entangled in him did get a penalty called, and he sent to the Bruise Boutique penalty box. And
5 points up for Abe Drinkin.
And it looks like Star Pass is going to go to Jumper Cut.
Right around the outside, Abe Drinkin just getting around El Tenant. At the end of the pack, Jam's End, 7 points up for Shock Exchange, 0 Royal Hooligans in that jam. Score, oh, I apologize. That was actually 11 points for Shock Exchange, bringing the score to 341 to 42. 10 minutes, 18 seconds remain in the game. Power start in the hands of Jonathan R.
If you hear a little bit of thunder, that's some of the Hooligans fans banging on the boards. Beautiful juggernaut. And it looks like that is going to be blocking with the head call. And that is going to go on Jonathan R. Do-si-do, jumper cut, now released onto the flat track. Royal Hooligans trying to come in with a force. 187. Dudley Durong trying to punch a hole for jumper cut. He gets knocked out of bounds and will have to recycle back. He's going to the box. That's going to be a high block call on him. So back here we go. Jonathan R. now back to his power jam.
And Push-Up Zebra getting quite the workout as the jam ref for Jonathan R. But she does it with style. 5 points up. That's making it, I believe, do we have 10 so far? Or was that the first 5? We have just shy of 9 minutes remaining in the game. 35 seconds on the jam clock. Juppercut returns to the track. Sammy Dangerfield holding down a seat in the Bruise Boutique penalty box. Juppercut taken to the infield. Coming back in behind B-Shurs and Kenbo Slice. It appears we have a star pass. It has been handed off to Mardi Gras, Royal Hooligans captain and pivot. The jam is called before Mardi Gras can escape the pack.
Ooh, I am getting exhausted. Completely winded from this because it's like still taking off right now. Of course, we got Carnage Asada on the jammer line right now.
With Betty Switch. And, you know, we got some left from Greensboro Roller Derby for Betty Switch saying, go Betty Switch, hashtag BOBH2016. If you have a favorite skater who's playing right now that you'd like to shout out, please hit us up on Twitter. And that is hashtag BOBH2016 for Battle of Bunker Hill 2016.
Well, my favorite skater so far is Anderson Cooper.
Yes.
Thank you, Kobe.
The Kitty Derby.
Yes.
And Carnage Asada recycled to the rear of the pack. Appears to have broken free. Gets by on the inside line. No point, no penalty. Is not lead. Appears we have, is that Jeffrey?
Oh, Switch. Oh, he's coming through on the inside. He gets around. Yes, Betty Switch. 4 on the board.
Both jammers about to emerge on the pack, and it is Carnage Asada with a big jump.
Switch called on a forearm right to the Bruise Boutique penalty box. And this is going to be a power jam for Carnage Asada in New York Shock Exchange.
It appears that Carnage Asada had perhaps done the star stash, but has replaced the star on his helmet. Betty Switch standing in the penalty box right now. New York Stock Exchange wise that having extended back as far as possible, really working to bring the engagement zone all the way to the edge and perhaps hold back Betty Switch a little bit more.
5 in the sky, going to New York Stock Exchange. Pack is starting to pick on up.
Betty Switch just dueling that New York Stock Exchange defense.
Oh, she's not going to quit.
Oh, absolutely not.
Carnage slipped through on the outside on turn number 1. That's going to be that gym. 4 more points added to their score.
$375 to 46, just over 5 minutes remaining in the game. Out on the track, looks like we have, an official timeout perhaps. As everybody, Stock Exchange informing us all, check if your shoulders are still there. It's our little official timeout with that shoulder tap, as signaled by our jam timer. Eltonot and Abe Drinkin patiently awaiting the opportunity to jam for their respective teams. And the fans are excited. We have a little bit of slamming on the wall here at Shriners Auditorium. I don't know. I'm pretty excited about the next matchup. We have Capital District Trauma Authority taking on Collision Men's Derby coming from North Carolina. Capital District hails from Albany, New York. An exciting matchup. Both teams putting forward just some great gameplay earlier today.
Yeah, if you end up missing it earlier today, number 87, Black and Wild from Collision, skated.
6 wheels.
Got 6 wheels, hit the back 2 wheels on his right skate, went launching out, and he continued to skate 2 more laps, still got bumped around, stayed balanced, and scored 4 points on 6 wheels.
That is dedication and total bamfery, in my opinion.
I talked to Black and Wild earlier. Coach was screaming out to him, you might want to get off the track. He's like, no, I got this.
Yeah.
I got this, and he did.
I saw that exchange happen. It was pretty great. All right.
Ooh.
Well, we continue to wait because just trying to straighten out a few things. Could be a score correction. We will keep you posted.
Looks like they're fixing the track, actually. So there's one piece of track they've had to do a couple of repairs to throughout the weekend.
Yes, we're lucky to have a good stable of adhesive demarcation technicians on hand, also known as our tape engineers.
Adhesive demarcation technician.
Or engineer. You take your pick.
That's like something I would put in a resume and just nod and smile. Yeah, you should hire me.
Listen, track tape is serious business. Therefore, the title. But no one else is serious business. Roller derby, and we officially are off to this jam. Abe Drinkin jamming for Shock up against Eltonot of the Royal Hooligans. Eltonot getting caught up in that Stock Exchange wall. Bit of a tumble there. Looks like 440 Gustav Brawler.
Drinkin kind of swimming through the pack. He utilized Harm's Way as a kind of a little blocker. Made his way through and through. 5 up on the sky. Tanat having to recycle on the pack again.
And Bisher is picking up the forearm call as there appeared to be a handsy push there on Eltonant, who is cycled to the back of the pack by I Don't Care Bear.
Drinkin finally through again. It's going to throw another grand slam on the board for the New York Stock Exchange.
Abe Drinkin using that hip to get in the middle, driving apart Zombicidal Maniac and Beast.
Yeah, stick alongside of us after this. You got 2 more bouts coming up. And you can still message us. You can still shout out at hashtag BOBH2016. GSO Roller Derby sending out some love to Collision Roller Derby. Yeah. Collision Men's coming up next.
Thank you, Greensboro, for reaching out, saying can't wait for at Collision Derby to play next at Battle of Bunker Hill 2016.
And number 16, you got Mardi Gras that's going to be jamming for the Royal Hooligans.
Mardi Gras, bringing parties to the track wherever he goes.
I wonder if I was going to say, it'd be kind of great anytime you get a Grand Slam, everyone will throw beads at him.
Yeah. Well, as long as it's not on the track, we're good. You know, that could be an after-party activity. It's like Mardi Gras. Beads. You're like, guys, this is getting old.
Number 9, Kembo Slice. Already we got 5 in the sky. It's going to slip on through and get another 4 on the board.
And it appears the Royal Hooligans taking the strategy of staying to the rear of the pack just in case they need to spring into action and provide some offense for their jammer. It's official. Shock has broken the 400-point mark. 403 to 45. 2 minutes, 25 seconds remain in the game.
Still not too bad having a fusion of two teams that have had no chance to practice with each other. Hooligans and Montreal's Mont Royals.
It's actually making for quite the fun game.
Yeah, they're all having a blast out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of having a blast, that is Beast taking lead over Jonathan R., but not sweating it one bit. Jonathan R. putting a little hustle in there, got a smile on his face. Let's see what he has for Beast.
Beast launched out of turn number 4 by Abe Drinkin.
Flew out of that turn. Let me just see. No penalty assessed. That's good. He didn't look happy with the way that ended. But at the same time, picked up some points.
Yeah, he called it off, and he thought he would be the only one. But unfortunately, it's going to be 3 points apiece for both teams.
Okay. I'm not going to pull an Oso, but I am going to say the clock is ticking down, and that is Eltonant jamming for the Royal Hooligans up against Carnage Asada. As you can hear Oso behind me on the house mic getting very excited about Carnage Asada. Carnage Asada taking lead about a half lap ahead of Eltonant.
Yeah, Eltonant finally actually able to escape the pack. The last few jams he's been in has been hard. He hops the apex, comes through into the pack, and even though Carnage picks up 4 and calls it, Eltonant picks up 2 points.
Okay, it appears that Men's Roller Derby Montreal Mardi Gras commentators send their love. Hashtag BOVH2016. Hashtag Go Royal Hooligans. Thank you, Montreal Men's Derby, or shall I say Montreal's Roller Derby Masculine. Thank you for tuning in. Hashtag BOVH2016 here at Battle of Bunker Hill Invitational.
Unfortunately, it looks like Betty Switch got called on a track cut, reporting to the Bruce Boutique penalty box. Power Jam, I am Havoc in charge, so he's just going to stand there and wait it out.